Welcome to the Vibe Within podcast. I'm your host, Gab Cohen. Each week, we will connect through stories and conversations about wellness, yoga, addictions, spirituality, mental health, rituals, and everything in between. The goal is to transform our traumas into strengths to create the change we desire in our lives. My mission is to help others by shining awareness on real-life topics so we can learn new ways to heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whatever you are going through in this moment, you are not alone. So let's connect and heal our vibe within.
Right now, within these chaotic waves, my main goal is not to react to my triggers, for they do not deserve a drop of my energy. I choose to take away of least resistance. Everything you did, everything you said is not part of me. So I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. And I take a breath. I feel it hit the back of my chest these days.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This song that you are hearing in the intro is called Let It Go by Matt Bellina and I. We collaborated on this song. I helped him out with the lyrics / poetry, and he brought it to life by creating this song and composing the music. And if you're interested in hearing more music, we have an EP that's coming out. An EP is basically a special release album with about 5 to 7 songs. So we're really excited about that. And I feel like this song really goes hand in hand with what's going on in life right now. I took a bit of a pause from the podcast, almost a month, I want to say, because I moved. I've been going through a lot of transitions. I'm creating a new life for myself, and it has been a lot mentally, physically, emotionally, especially physically. I think that we don't realize how much the body holds on to energy, emotions, and stress. And that can manifest as not only pain and inflammation and injury, but it can manifest as weight gain, as acne, as all these crazy digestive issues. So I'm going to actually make a solo episode all about this kind of new energy that the collective is going through, manifestation, hypervigilance, how to create a new life for ourselves. You know, being hypervigilant is something that I've been really working on recently because it really keeps me back. It keeps me from reaching my potential, and it keeps me from trusting the universe. So I'm really excited to record a solo episode all about that. But today we have an episode with someone super awesome. His name is Chris, and he was in the documentary on HBO called Fake Famous. This interview I did with him a couple months ago, and I am really excited to get this one out. He is such a dope person, and right when I watched the documentary, I hit him up instantly, and I was just like, yo, dude, I really fuck with your vibe. I would love for you to come on the podcast. So we talk about all things social media, influencer life, fake famous stuff. we talk about just how this culture is so obsessed with being famous and well known and just all the ins and outs. We talk about dating, we talk about experiences we've had in past relationships, toxic relationships, being an entrepreneur, just being a human. And he's really funny and he made me laugh. And I feel like that's really important right now. Comedic relief, laughter is the best medicine, and he is super down to earth, super funny, super easy to talk to, and I had a really good time with this one. So I think you guys are really, really going to enjoy this episode. If you want to connect with Chris, you can follow him on Instagram. I'll put all of his information in the show notes. As you can hear, there's a city sound in the background of me recording this intro. It's because I'm living in the city now. So I like the sounds of the city. Just warning you, some of these intros might have city sounds, but I like it. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of calming. So, anyways, if you want to connect with Chris, his Instagram is Chris VS Myself. And the documentary you can find on HBO Max, and it is called Fake Famous. It's amazing. I think everyone has already watched it, but if you haven't, please go watch it. It's really entertaining, and Chris is an awesome part of the documentary. So, without further ado, let's just get right into this episode, and we will connect soon. You don't hear very many people say, oh, like, my family is full of rocket scientists. Like, you don't really hear that every day.
Yeah, no, my grandfather, my grandparents raised me. My grandfather, my mom's dad, is a rocket scientist.
Okay, that's sick. Um, so let's kind of take it back a little bit. Well, first off, I wanted to ask you, how's your parasite cleanse going?
Oh, it's going good. I'm glad you just asked.
Because
Okay,
we love talking about stomach stuff and digestion and poop here. So,
it's going pretty well. I think I'm on day 8, and it's pretty good. I think like the intense part of it is just pretty much over. So pretty, I'm pretty confident that I don't have no more parasites living inside of me, especially after that cleanse. Because every day when I wake up, I gotta shit like 3 times.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's gone. But you know what? I don't have any symptoms of having parasites, which are, minor things a lot of people might not recognize, but they might cause you to grind your teeth. They
Mm-hmm.
also cause you to have cravings, things like that. I have no cravings. And that's crazy because I used to, I love to eat. So
As you're
I be
like, let me
having
just go
cravings.
grab some snacks before
Yeah,
this.
I needed some snacks because it is time for me to eat, but
It's
I don't
snack
have
time.
cravings. Yes, I don't have crazy cravings, which is dope.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I had like a lot of symptoms for the parasites. I was like breaking out.
Mm.
I was like I had digestion issues, just like I went to Thailand and Bali when I was in 2017, and I got like
Mm-hmm.
deathly ill for 5 days, and I think that's when I got parasites, like legit. So, yeah, I just talked about this a little bit on the podcast because I got a series of colonics. Have you ever gotten a colonic before?
No. Oh, you told me this, did you?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's good. It's good to like get a
What is
colonic.
that? They stick a
It's
hose in your booty?
yeah.
That's crazy.
So it sounds crazy, and I mean it is crazy, but like I didn't realize how common like and how cool like it is, and like how normalized it is to get these colonics. So I've never gotten one, but then I decided to get a series of 3 because my friend was like, if you're going to do the parasite cleanse, you might as well go all the way in and just do it. And I was amazed by how much like came out of me, like just poop wise. I mean, obviously that's what happens when you get a colonic, but just seeing it and being like, I had no idea that that could literally be lodged in there. It just makes you think, like, you know, years and years of like doing drugs and partying and drinking and stuff like that. Like it's
That's the vibe within, right? I had to
yes.
cleanse the vibe within.
Yeah.
Also, Gab, I gotta give you a big, 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 big shout out for being a woman who is talking about poop. Every girl I know won't even admit that they poop. So now I just have, you know, I just have an idea in my mind that girls don't poop.
Right.
So all the fellas out there, if your girl is one of those girls who says, "Girls, we don't do that. We don't poop," and you come home and you see poop in the toilet, know that there was somebody there that poops, and apparently, just as men poop. So be on the lookout. That's all I'm saying. Gab,
Yeah.
she's over here. She's owning up to her humanity.
I'm owning up to my shit, like literally. Um yeah, I mean, but like in relationships, like I feel like in the beginning, it's like you want that to like be that intimacy, like that sexiness, and like once you go over that, once you hit that section of like, okay, we poop and we fart in front of each other, or like any of that, it's like kind of like game over.
I mean, I guess it's part of being human. Obviously, you don't need to tell me every time you do it, but you know, at the same time, you ain't got to deny that you do it altogether. Like I know that you do it. So
Right. But like, do you think there's like a balance, like when you're in a relationship, like to keep the spark going, like to not, because I know couples that are just so open, like they're just farting and burping in front of each other like all day long, and it's like, I don't know.
I mean, that's called 100% comfort zone, but I don't know. It depends on what kind of person you are, honestly. Obviously, I think that there is a point where you gotta keep the relationship going strong, but I don't know if it involves shit, quite
Yeah.
literally. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, now that we talked about shit and we got that over with, everybody should go do a parasite cleanse and just try it out. But okay, so I found you on Fake Famous, and literally when I was watching it, I was kind of just like taken back by your energy, and I was like, yo, this dude is like, one, you're funny, two, you just kind of stood out from the other people with like, it seemed like your intention and just your overall like mentality of it all. And um I DM'd you that night, and I wasn't thinking that you were going to DM me back or even see it. And I'm so glad that you did see it. And I'd love to just like kind of hear what your life was like before this documentary situation and experience. Like, what were you doing? Were you trying to do the influencer thing? Were you, how did this opportunity come to you? Like, what was going on?
Um, okay. That's a lot. You want to know about my life before the documentary?
Hmm.
That's deep.
Like leading up
Um,
to the documentary, like what was going on and like
all
how did
right.
that come into your life?
So leading up to the documentary, I'd only been in LA for 1 year. I had moved to LA from Tucson. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to create a new outlook on my life. I think I was in a very negative state of mind when I was there. Well, I know I was, and I wanted to destroy that. I wanted to eliminate that. So I came to LA. Now, everybody who knows me knows I always been this way, right? Everybody knows I'm a character. I like to make people laugh. I got a lot to say. I'm an honest person, and I do speak what's on my mind. So, you know, people will always be like, man, you need to be on TV. You need to have your own show. You need to do this. You need to do that. That was in Tucson. But obviously, nobody over there was really making that happen. So,
Hmm.
came to LA, and a mutual friend um, between me and one of my close homies now, she is a casting director for Blackish. And she would watch my Instagram story where I would just, I'll be on Instagram just talking my shit, having a good time, whatever. And she was like, yo, I need to put you on TV. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it. And she said, okay, so come come do an interview or an audition at her studio. Now, I'm looking at it right now. 7/3/2019. I went
Mm-hmm.
to audition at the big Disney studio over there in Burbank, and I read through some lines, and I told them I was like, I never did this before, so you know. But they were like, "Oh no, we love you. We think you're great." They thought I was so good that they gave her a promotion. Like basically, they were
Nice.
like, "If you're gonna bring people in like that, we're gonna promote you." So going forward, she said, "Yo, you know what? I have a friend and she's working on this production, and I think you would be perfect for it." So I said, "Okay. So what's up with that?" And she's like, "Well, it's not acting, so I think that it's gonna be really easy for you." And I said, "Okay. So what do I gotta do?" She said, "Just come over to my apartment. We gonna chill. We gonna smoke, and I'm gonna ask you these questions, and I'm gonna film you." And I said, "Okay." So I came over and we did that. And then she took the footage and she made me a self tape and she sent it in. I still have never even seen the self tape to this day. I don't really want to see it. But anyways, I was so then I got a call back. So I pulled up at the audition and I was like in this waiting room full of all these people who just looked so like they looked so uptight, like they looked nervous, they looked scared, and I didn't understand why that was because like it was no acting involved. So like like what are you nervous about? Like they just gonna ask you a couple of questions, dude. Like just be yourself.
So you didn't know anything about anything that you were going into.
No, 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 no. Look, so they don't tell you like they don't tell you it's on HBO. They don't tell you.
Yeah.
They basically advertised it as a social experiment that has to do with social media.
Okay.
So like the questions that I answered on that self tape, they had to do with like social media, but it didn't have anything to do with becoming an influencer. You know what I'm saying? I was never really trying to be an influencer. I never was. That was never my path.
Right.
So, anyways, I go to this audition and everybody's in there looking super tight, and this girl walks in and she's looking all types of exotic. She looked like she's from a place I can't pronounce, so I need to figure out who she is. So I'm like, it's dead quiet in there, and I'm just like, I just start talking. I'm like, yo, who are you? I start talking to her. She has a guitar and stuff, and I'm like, yo, you about to play them a song or what? What's your deal? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, play me a song. So she starts playing me a song and whatever. I'm having a good time.
You're like the only
That's
one in there talking, like everybody else is just like
yeah.
mute.
Everybody else is
Auditions are so weird.
eyes glued to their paper and like they are just they're
Hmm.
nervous. I turn around, this girl's playing me a song. I'm in there, having a good time, laughing and shit. And I turn around and there's like three cameras on me. And I was like, whoa, who are y'all? And this lady was like, just act like we're not here. But she was like, I've been waiting for you. And I was like, what you mean? But anyway, I was just like, all right, whatever. So we get past that, and then I go into the audition room, and that's the part that's like the preview, the intro clip of them asking everybody,
Hmm.
do you want to be famous? And when they asked me, do I want to be famous? I said, no, I don't want to be famous, but I deserve to be famous because I want people to hear the story of who I am and what I've been through. And I feel like I want people to feel this.
Yeah.
And I told him that, and I could kind of see in everybody's face because everybody paused. Like, I could see that I was the only person that came in with that type of attitude, but that's not a surprise to me. That's my whole life. I've always been the one standout, in a lot of situations. So, anyways, I leave the audition. I'm thinking, whatever, we gonna see what happens. They hit me up and they say, okay, we wanna we want to put you in this production. Now that's when I start to actually find out what this thing is about, right?
So how long was it from the audition, from that audition to the point where you found out?
Um,
Like not that
I
long?
it wasn't that long. I'll say like maybe like a week, 2 weeks
Oh
tops.
wow. That's really
So
yeah.
yeah, it was really quick. So so I pulled up on our first day. Uh, None of the footage from that first day was in there, but I pulled up on the first day and we all had a meeting. You know, we all talked, sat down and talked. And so that's the first time I met Dom. That's the first time I met Wiley. That's the first time I met the crew officially. Nick Bilton, Annabelle, Steph, all of them. Um, and obviously, okay, now the first thing I'm gonna notice naturally, I'm the only black guy in the room. Okay, cool. So I have questions in my mind of how
Hmm.
are these people gonna portray me if I'm the only person that's like me in
Like
this
on the
room?
crew too?
On the crew, I'm talking about everybody. Nobody's black. Nobody.
Okay, that's
Nobody.
weird.
It's just me.
Okay.
Um,
Did you think that like the experiment had something to do with race? Did that like pop into your mind at all?
I didn't think about that. My thought is about the fact that I'm in Hollywood and I'm about to do a Hollywood production
Yeah.
and I'm the only black person, and you know, it's just I don't know. This is my first time doing this. I'm not familiar with this and I don't know these people like that and they don't know me like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they tell us, they're like, "Look, we want to make you guys influencers or appear to be influencers as a social experiment and we're going to document what happens as you know it progresses and then basically um, we're just going to see what happens, we're going to document it." And I was sitting there, I was like, that's cool. You know, they had these big plans for everybody else there, like, oh, we're going to get you guys makeovers, we're going to get you this and that. And I'm like, yo, you know what? But they're telling me, oh, Chris, but you don't need a makeover and this and that. So um, at the same time that I knew that they were saying that as a compliment, like trying to flatter me, I also felt like, well, damn, you can't really exclude me from that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, so then, yeah. So basically, after that day, that was the day I sat down and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna sign these papers and I'm gonna do it. You know, I knew that if anything, I was going to the exposure that I needed, and so I decided to do it. Now, in my mind, I already knew. I was like, I'm not going to do any of these weird, corny photo shoots. I probably won't even really promote anybody's product unless it's super tight and I actually would use it. And I'm just going to be me. Like, I'm not doing anything that's outside of who I am. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And I knew that before I sign the paperwork. So with those intentions set, I just went ahead and said, "All right, I'm in." You know, and
Right.
so that is how I got to Fake Famous. Originally, it was called Influence Me,
Okay.
but then they changed it near the end to Fake Famous.
I think Fake Famous is more catchy. Okay. Um when I saw the documentary, there was a woman in the documentary. I think she probably works for HBO, or maybe she was one of like the experts that they were interviewing. And she said something along the lines of this: when you're famous, everyone praises everything you do, just like when you're an infant. Everyone praises what a 3 year old does, whether it's good or bad. So, this culture is desperate for attention and praise and love. She says that this craving for attention is basically a craving for love. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, she's kind of accurate. Those people who are really influencers, who are really like doing it for the gram, like they want to feel like people are looking up to them, people are paying attention to them, people love them, people want to admire them, people want to be influenced by them.
Hmm.
That's what a lot of them do it for. I mean, I don't know a lot of them, so I can't speak for everybody, but that's the way it seems. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. If that's how you go about your life, that's cool. That's your business, but
Right,
it,
but at the same time, I feel like there's different layers or different like tiers of influencers. Like there are influencers out there who are trying to spread their story, which I want to get back to what you said about how I want people to know my story. I want people to know what I've been through. So let's put a pin in that just real quick. But this like there's influencers out there who are all body based, like they're just posing selfies of their body or whatever.
mhm,
Then there's
mhm,
then there's the more psychological influencer who's talking about like deep spiritual shit and like
mhm. The woke
trauma.
influencer,
Yeah, and then there's like influencers that are all like
product based.
yes, yeah, product
Mhm.
based or
Then
like
there's
mental
fashion influencers.
fashion, yeah, and like mental
Mhm,
illness influencers, like there's like a niche, I guess, for everything.
mhm,
But I feel like that's where you can see people's intentions and it's like, I'll get stuck in these social media traps where I'm like looking at somebody's post and I'm like why like what is this doing? Like what are you trying to do here? Like are you trying to help people feel good or are you trying like, you know what I mean?
mhm,
So it's hard to be so like submerged in all of the different types of influencers and find like that happy ground of okay, why am I here? First of all, why am I on Instagram? Why am I on social media? Like what am I trying to get from it? What am I trying to get out there? So let's take it back to what you were saying about that audition. You're like, yo, I just like want people to know what I've been through and my story. Like what have you been through? Like is there something like in your childhood or your adolescence that still sticks with you today that you're healing from? It could be trauma of any sort.
absolutely, absolutely. I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy to go through all the bullshit that I've been through, and I never needed HBO to prove I'm influential. And I say that because I've been through a whole lot of shit. I've been through a whole lot of shit that I can't understand why I was chosen to be subjected to it. Um, so my, I mean, I have multiple things, but one of the biggest things that sticks with me, and it's still with me today, is the fact that my mother, she's basically very mentally ill, and she was a drug abuser. Um, I think she's doing pretty okay right now, but she has been for years. She probably has been on that path for more than half of my life. So I've seen her go from rock bottom to having a seemingly normal, good life to getting married to my sister's dad, to losing everything again, going down an even worse path. Um, that path includes so much. That path includes, you know, severe drug abuse, severe, just a lot of devilish things, a lot of evil things. Prostitution, all types of shit. And as I grew into an adult, those things became more apparent to me, and I was able to understand what was actually going on because I had lost my childlike innocence to kind of be in the dark as to like what's going on, why is my mom like this, and why is she doing the things that she's doing. Because then it changes, your life changes when your parent needs you to
Hmm.
come get them out of a situation. You understand? And like when you have to pull up and you see what that situation is, being a grown ass adult and understanding like, whoa, like this is what you were just doing. Like these are the people that you was just with. Everything changes, right? So my perception of so many things is I'm healing, but my perception of so many things was really really messed up. Like my perception of women was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like you really won't be the same, and if you have to see what I seen, you really won't be the same. You won't view it the same way. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
that's one piece, but that's something that was close to me. That was something that I constantly was going through, and that was one of the reasons why I left Tucson when I left Tucson, because I felt like no matter how many good things that I did and how much positivity I had in my mindset and how many positive intentions I had, I couldn't get away from that because I can't change that person.
Hmm.
And that person is going to do what that person wants to do. So it's just many things that go through your mind, like when somebody tells you that they love you, when your parents tell you that they love you, but you can see that they don't really love you more than they love a habit, or more than they love a substance. You know what I'm saying? And you can really see that that's habit and that substance really has complete control over them.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where all I would do is go to my studio, go to the shop that I would work on my brand from, and go home. Those are the only three places I would go, because sometimes I would drive down the street and I would see my mom, and my mom would be fucked up and she didn't look good. You know what I'm saying? And I got sick of seeing that. And
Yeah.
I got sick of going through that. And she was causing all types of problems for my other family. My grandparents obviously have to deal with it. My little sister had to deal with it. You know, so I just feel like a lot of people might think that everything is all good. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the suburbs. Like we weren't in the hood. My mom was never in. We weren't in the projects. We weren't in the ghetto. We weren't even in a setting or an environment where those activities and that lifestyle that she fell into, it wasn't even really like around. You know what I'm saying? Tucson is just a very random place. So if you have a bad habit, most likely you can find a group of people in a crowd that you can support that bad habit with.
Yeah.
And if you have a good habit, that's true too, but it's not as easy to go somewhere with that habit.
Yeah. You said that it kind of like what I like to call this, or what this is called in psychology terms, is the mother wound. And it doesn't have to be your literal mother. So if anybody's listening and they have just a motherly, you know, matronly figure in your life, like that could give you this wound too. And like I've talked about it a lot on the podcast about how I have a lot of issues with my mother as well. Um how did it you said that it kind of like altered your perspective on women. Like how did that whole experience with your mom alter your perception on women?
Well, I mean, look, like my whole perspective of sex and just pursuing women was completely like detoured and sidetracked, because like, man, for any fellas out there listening, like you will never look at pussy the same if you knew that your mom was selling pussy. You would not. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, seriously.
once I had to face that, it changed me, because I started to understand things deeper than just man and woman. I'm talking about self-worth. I'm talking about, selling your soul. That's what selling your soul is. That's what selling your soul looks like and feels like, you know, completely abandoning it and using your body as this, just this thing that you have no care for. You take all of the hatred and self-loathing that you have going on in your mind, and you subject your physical being to it, because that's the only way you know how to, cope, or that's how you go through it. You know what I'm saying? And So it was like, I think I was like 24. I went to a 4-year university, so these girls all the time, girls around. But I was never a dude that was just like chasing girls 24/7. It just wasn't my thing. Like, you know,
And did that make a lot of girls like gravitate towards you?
girls would just think like, how is this guy not completely obsessed with me? Like if I was talking to a girl or like hanging out with a chick and like she's trying to do something to like catch my attention, or you know how it goes, you know how the dynamic is, and I'm just like really not phased by it or really not paying it too much attention. They would just be so confused, like, like, how is this guy not just completely drooling over me and obsessed with me? I was never taught to be that way. I was
Right.
I never it wasn't in my upbringing. I
It's
didn't.
that mother wound swag.
And it's also that daddy was a straight player swag.
Oh
Because
shit.
my dad, he's the type of man that can't nobody tell him shit. He ain't checking in with nobody, and he's not answering to nobody. And that goes for all relationships in his life. And yeah, my dad, he's a real unique and suave dude. He's from Jamaica, and uh, he's a popular one with the ladies, I would say. All the girls I know were like, "Oh my god, that's your dad!" Like, so I'm like, you know, my dad is just kind of like he does his own thing, and that's how he is. So part of it is DNA, and part of it could be that mother wound for sure. You know,
Yeah. So that's where you got your swag from, your dad just being like, whatever, and like, it's like a combination of both.
yeah.
So,
My dad
yeah,
wasn't really like around though. I gotta
okay.
say that my dad became my a deeper relationship with my dad formed once I already was a man.
Okay.
Because to be real, as much as I love my dad, the fact is he's not like a fatherly type of guy. You know,
You
he's
said that
not
your
like,
grandparents took care of you.
yeah, my grandparents raised me. So like my dad was just he was just being him. He was living his life. He was doing whatever he wanted to do. And I'm pretty sure my dad had hot boy summer for 25 summers, probably. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So he probably still trying to do hot boy summer. He looks like my brother. Real shit. When
yeah.
people see us, they don't know that I'm his son because he look young. But yeah, so he didn't have like a major influence on me as a child. I know that I had some trauma with him too because I couldn't understand why I was so distant from him. I wanted to have a relationship with him
Hmm.
so much, but he was just so immature. You know what I'm saying? Like the nigga was not ready to be a dad. Like he's not trying to be a father. He's trying to go to the club. He's trying to fuck with some hoes. He's trying to go smoke and drink with his homeboys. Like that's what he wants to do. And he's also like, we came up in this time where like everything is so like hip hop and like hyper masculinity and all of this stuff was like so apparent that like I couldn't just really just be me and be around my dad and other like males in my family without being made fun of. And you know what I'm saying? It was just always jokes about my clothes, about just the way that I was. I've always been different. I like to, I have a crazy style. You know what I'm saying? I'm versatile. I can do all types of things.
I know you have a crazy style because I saw in one of the scenes in Fake Famous um you were wearing like a blanket
Oh,
sweater.
yeah.
Oh,
Let's
and when I
go.
saw that, I was like, holy shit, like that's like a granny blanket that he transformed into like this poncho that just
That's
like looks
right.
sick. So I was just like, dude, this guy is awesome when I saw that. Um, but okay, to bring it back to what you were saying, like about your mom, I
Hmm.
think this like misconception of like, you know, when a kid has a parent that's just like going through something like that, the kid or the child will automatically kind of um self project that like it's got to be my fault, or it's got to be you know, like you said, you know, she loved me but she didn't love me enough, like, or more than like the
Mm-hmm.
habit. And like that whole thing can be very like traumatizing, I guess, just to feel like that shame or that guilt. And I feel like there might be a lot of people like listening right now who are still in that, who are still, and it's a like healing trauma is a lifelong thing, but there's a lot of people who are still stuck in that like shame, that guilt, that I wish that it was another way. And it's like the older we get, I feel like we really have to like say we can't change them, we can't change our parents. What like what helped you kind of, you said you moved and that probably helped a lot, but
So
what
look,
helped you kind of like mentally get through that?
I'm gonna tell everybody, like, you have to have you have to have faith. And when I say faith, I don't mean that you have to believe in Jesus or Allah or Buddha or any of that. You have to have faith that you are being guided by something that you might not be able to explain. So you got to understand that every situation that you're in, you're supposed to be in it. And even if that's a painful situation, you got to understand, what is that teaching you? Why am I in this situation? Why do I have to go through this? You know, you can't just ask why me your whole life. At some
Mhm.
point, you have to figure out, what did this situation give me that now I have an edge over other people in my same position? Or what did I go through that gave me an edge and an advantage to take an opportunity that a lot of other people can't take? You know what I'm saying? Um, I had to start looking at it like that. I had to start looking at it like, yo, I've literally been through the worst shit I could think about. You know, that's, my mom, that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? There's other stuff that I've been through, and like, I really feel that I have seen it all, as far as like darkness and like really bad shit. I've seen it. And like, I had to start thinking about it like, you know what? There's a reason why I had to go through all of this. And then I started to understand, like, yo, people out here ain't even been through what I've been through. Like, you couldn't even take a walk in the shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I had to basically internalize all of the pain and say, but you know what? I still know what I'm worth, and I still know that I'm a special person. And so I'm going to use this to build that person that I am. And although we ain't nobody built perfect, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to use those things to be a part of yourself. Everything ain't gonna be perfect. You ain't gonna be for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And the quicker that you can accept that and understand that, your life will start to feel better to you.
Mhm.
Because, like, if people ain't been through what you've been through, at the end of the day, they ain't got no right to make you feel like you ain't worthy, to make you feel like you're not a good person. Like, if you can't go through what I've already been through, then we can't really even have that deep of a conversation. You can't question my character. You know, do what's right. You gotta know that you're being guided, but you have to surrender yourself to that, and you gotta trust, and then it will start to happen. That's the way that it happened to me.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
like
Go ahead.
like how you're saying like you're not going to be for everybody. I feel like every influencer or person or human in the world like really needs to embody that and embrace that, because people get so hung up on relationships that didn't work out, friendship
Mm-hmm.
breakups, like, you know, which is even weirder because people don't really talk about friendship breakups as much as regular like romantic breakups. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, like you can't make everybody happy. People grow apart. Everybody's got their trauma, and we're kind of all like trying to fit together and puzzle pieces, and like sharing these stories that you're sharing about what you're going through is going to create like an opening of, connection with people. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
that surface level stuff, like it's really hard for me to have surface level conversations because I share so like much of myself on social media and my podcast. So when I have surface level conversations, I'm kind of like looking into their soul, and I'm like, "But what have you been through? Like, tell
Yeah.
me, you know?"
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's the only way that we can truly relate to other humans. You know, you've been through what I've been through. You felt what I felt. You know, what they say about hurt people is hurt people want somebody to hurt like them sometimes. So, you know, um,
I think that's
that's
also
just the
why
way
we
that it
like,
is.
yeah, and like why we attract when we're in that kind of like energy frequency of like, kind of feeling shitty about yourself or feeling unworthy. I saw you were talking about unworthiness in your stories. It's like when we're trapped in that energy, we keep attracting people who are going to treat us like shit, or not really give us all of their energy, or
Or
you
they're
know
just unworthy of your time. Period.
yeah.
You're gonna attract some motherfuckers that are unworthy of you. That's what's going to happen. If you feel like you're down on yourself and you feel like you aren't worth it, or you're not appraising your self-worth at what you're really worth, if your value is lower than it actually should be in your own mind, well, you're going to attract that, you know.
Yeah. What would you tell someone? So, like, we did get a couple of questions about like emotionally abusive relationships, because I talk about that a lot on the podcast.
Hmm.
Have you been in an emotionally abusive relationship?
Wow. I
Like,
mean,
what would you tell what would you tell someone who is in one or getting over one?
um
What was your experience like?
I had a relationship that was just, I don't know. How do I say this? Like, her ass was crazy as hell. Oh my God. Like, and I thought that I was just biased because, like, I'm on the other side. And then finally, my grandmother was like, yo, there's something wrong with her. Like, there is something wrong with her. Like, her mind ain't working right. And it was just very like I wasn't good enough for her because I wasn't doing everything that she thought that a boyfriend should do. That she saw these boyfriends on Instagram and whoever else, the boyfriends of her friends, all the stuff that they were doing. And so I wasn't good enough because I was me, and I'm going to do what I do in my own way. I was never a cheater. I was never a liar. I just, I'm just
You weren't
me. I'm
living up to her expectation of some.
Yes. And she also knew that I was very, very invested into my craft and my passion. And that nothing was going to come in between me and that. And that, I feel that made her insecure. It made her jealous of my time. And then from that, like, things just stemmed from that I could not predict, and she ended up putting my mental state through hell. Actually, that was the one of the last breaking points before I left Tucson. She wasn't even from America, and I remember that when her visa was up, I dropped her off at the airport. And, we said we was going, we were gonna keep it going, whatever. But that day after I dropped her off from the airport, oh my God, I could just feel like even my brain felt like it was wearing chains. Like, them shits just came off. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm free now. And
Wow, I mean that. So it happened just like that.
I broke up with her ass. I told her I was going to come over to Africa and see her. Then she started tripping like the same day I bought the ticket. I canceled that shit and I was like, look, we done. Like, I'm done. I'm not going through this. I'm definitely not going through this long distance. Like there's no way I'm gonna let a phone stress me out. There's no
Hmm.
motherfucking way. So broke up with her, and as I reflected, I was like, wow, that was a really toxic relationship because like, yeah, like I just was not very happy. But like,
You
uh,
don't realize it though until you're out of it and you
uh,
take a step out, and it's because when
oh,
you're
but I
in it,
did. I did realize it.
so you
I
did.
I have these moments with myself. Okay, I have these moments with myself, and they happen a lot when I'm alone.
This episode is brought to you by The Reserve. The Reserve is a US based brand that focuses on superfoods, and I've been super obsessed with superfood powders the last, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years. So I'm pretty open with my holistic healing journey with my Hashimoto's and thyroid stuff and gut health. So I'm going to tell you guys a few of the products that I really like and how I actually use them and incorporate them in drinks and smoothies. So the first product that I tried is the Immunity Booster Blend. And what this is a powder that has echinacea, elderberry, reishi, and astragalus. And all of these superfoods are really amazing for boosting your immunity, your immune system, and keeping you healthy and strong. I also really, really love the lion's mane powder. Lion's mane is an adaptogen mushroom powder, and this helps with boosting energy naturally. It's packed with antioxidants, and it's really good for your brain health. I love using the lion's mane powder in my coffees, in my smoothies, in my iced coffees, and I like to blend it up in the blender even if I'm making a hot beverage and blending it all up and it gets super frothy. They also have organic ashwagandha, which is an amazing superfood powder that also helps with energy boosting. It balances your mood. It's been known to help regulate your hormones. It also has been known to help people who are struggling with anxiety and depression. It's also a really good source of dietary fiber. It's vegan, non GMO, gluten free. All of their superfood powders are amazing, and it's really easy to just throw them in smoothies, throw them in your bowls. You can even cook with them. You can actually cook with the ashwagandha because it doesn't really taste like anything. So you can make that, you can put that in your stir fries, you can put that in salads and dips and spreads. And they also have the blue spirulina, which you can also do. You can actually make a blue spirulina guacamole that's really good. You can put it in almond milk and make like a blue magic type of milk. So I really think you guys are going to love all of the powders that the Reserve has. You can go and check them out at fromthereserve.com, and you can use code GAB40 for 40% off of your purchase. That's fromthereserve.com, and use discount code GAB40 for a discount.
And I believe it's because I was mostly an only child. I didn't have a sibling until I was 16. So we have a big age gap.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was an only child, when I was a kid, I know that I would just realize things like very randomly. Things would just cross my mind, and I would figure things out, and I would be like, wow, why did I just understand that all of a sudden?
Like a
And
download.
it's, yes, and it still happens to this day. And I remember, like, I was driving in the car, and uh, Andre 3000, Hey Ya came on, and he's like my favorite artist. And anyways, if anybody who really knows what that song is about, it's not a happy song, but I I heard that song, and I literally had to like stop the car, and I pulled over, and I was like overwhelmed with this feeling of I am so unhappy in this relationship that I'm in. Like I fucking hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't like I don't know how to I don't know how to like, I didn't know how to get out of it because for some reason, the part of me that would usually just assert myself in situations and just be like, look, nah, I don't like that. It was being suppressed, so I felt that I couldn't be me. And it was just a multitude of personality traits that I felt like were not true to myself. And I finally realized, I was like, wow, I'm really unhappy with this. And that's when it started. That's when I started to be like, okay, I'm going to end this. I'm going to end this very, very soon. Um,
I feel like there's
but
always that moment where you're just like, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
to be real, that was like that's like my first real serious relationship. And that was like after college, you know what I'm saying?
How long
And
was it?
shit, it was like a year and some change.
Mhm.
We did a lot. We went a lot of places. We explored a lot of things together. But at the same time, I was like, no, you're a little bit too much. And I just can't be me. Like, I can't do me. Like, you want me to, like, I remember specifically, okay, this is just something that would not work with me because of who I am. You want to go to the mall. We were in, we were in, we were in Copenhagen. We were in Denmark.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
She wants me to go to wherever, I guess wherever they shop, the mall, and buy some shit so that we're kind of like matchy matchy on New Year's for some pictures. I'm like, motherfucker, I am a whole artist and a designer. Like, I don't shop at the mall. You never seen me shop in the mall. We've never shopped at the mall before. You've never known me to shop at the mall. You know that my ass be at Goodwill. Like, what am I gonna find?
Yo,
And
oh
I remember being like, babe, really? Like, this really not me. Like, I don't want to do this. And she was hot. She went off the chain. On that trip, that's the first time I realized. I was like, oh shit, like she a little bit crazy. Like,
and
you
you're
know,
like in Copenhagen.
yes, I'm in a foreign country, you know what I'm saying? I don't know where to go. And like I was really about to like buy a hotel and just like I don't know, like go be by myself because she started
Wow.
acting wild. She started throwing shit. She started getting aggressive. And I was like, okay, nah. All because I was like, yo, I'm not about to do that.
Like you set a boundary and like it's almost like this girl like you weren't your life wasn't her. You had other interests and
Yes,
like
exactly.
so the fact and there's some girls who just aren't okay with that. And I think
Nah.
that that's actually something I wanted to ask you is just like, well, first off, before I ask you this question, what's your sign? Your
Oh,
astrological sign?
I'm a big goat. I'm a Capricorn,
I
you
fucking
know.
knew it. I fucking knew it. Okay. This is why you that whole situation like triggered you because you're like, no, like you're very work oriented and like I
Hmm.
had a feeling that you were a Capricorn anyways, but what's like your dating experience been like maybe after, Fake Famous came out? Like are you dating like DM like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sure you got, like, so many DM slides. What's up with that?
I'm actually like, I'm really not. Oh my God, I'm sorry. My phone is going crazy right now. Jesus. Um, I'm actually not dating. My dating life is just so in the casket right now.
Same.
And I kind of like yeah, like I'm just not focused on it because I kind of put it into my mind. I was like, this is not my time for that. This is not my time to focus on that. After her, I was like, wow, look how much time just went by.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's a lot. And I was like, okay, am I happy with all that I accomplished in that amount of time? And I kind of looked, reflected, and was like, eh, nah, I think I could do better. So I kind of just, I don't really. I'm not really dating. Also, the whole COVID thing got a lot of people shook, and they ain't trying to meet up. And also, I don't have dating apps. Some
That's what I
people
was gonna
did
ask you too.
slide. Yeah, I don't have them anymore.
They're
I used to
awful.
I
They're
used to
awful.
be on them, but I felt like they were very toxic, so I deleted them.
Hmm.
I haven't had them in like maybe, damn, like maybe like a year now. Um,
Yeah.
so I did have some chicks slide in the DM. Whoa, crazy! I had
Okay.
some chicks slide on my DM, like very aggressively, like very, very, very aggressively.
Okay. Well, this is some of my quick fire questions that I definitely wanted to ask you
Let's do it.
um, about this kind of stuff.
Okay.
What what's been, you know, the craziest DM slide that you've gotten, or what's the craziest DM slide, and what's like the most annoying DM slide?
Uh,
Because they could be different, you know.
nah, I'm gonna keep it professional. The craziest DM slide that I got was, drum roll please. Virgil Abloh DM'd me, and I just felt like that was just mad. Like, I was on my phone and I was like, Virgil Abloh just sent you a message, and I was like, what? Like, excuse me? That was cool. That was crazy in a good way. Now,
Yeah.
if we gonna go the other way, crazy like, yo, this one girl, I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. She found me on Fake Famous. She sent me a DM, and like the first one she sent me was like some nudes. And I opened it and I was just like, whoa. And I think I sent her the emoji of the big eyes, the like the surprise face. And and then she was like, and then she was like, oh yeah. And she sent me another thing. And then this was like a whole like pornographic like video. And I was like, really? Like, I was in my crib with my boys and I was like, yo, like we were going crazy. We were like, dog, what in the world? Like, this is my first look at groupies.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, that was crazy. And then annoying. I think the annoying ones are the ones that, okay, let me just go ahead. I'm gonna air this shit out right now.
Yeah. Air
Okay.
it out. Let it
Open the
out.
window up and air it out. Okay.
Hmm.
Roll the windows down. People will DM me talking about, I saw you on Fake Famous, this and that. I really fuck with you and I fuck with your brand, but I feel like you didn't do the experiment the right way. But the experiment is still going. You came to my page and you messaged me to tell me that you fuck with me, but I didn't do the experiment correctly. I think the experiment is going just fine. And I don't really owe you shit. So,
There you
and
go. I
the
mean,
worst thing, the worst part, the absolute worst part is most of the people that fall into that category are black people like myself. The only black person you saw on that whole production represented himself authentically and did
yes.
not sell out. And you have the nerve to come to my page and tell me, I don't think you did it right.
Sorry, I
That's
didn't know there
funny
was
to
a right
me.
or wrong way.
Exactly. So,
It's just an experiment, and
an
all three
experiment's
of
an
you,
experiment.
had completely different experiences with it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
And we're three totally different personalities.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a little bit annoying. I was getting a little annoyed with that because I was like, there's no logic. Why are you on my page then? You know?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and the experiment is still going. I guess cuz isn't the I don't want to put too much like information out there, like everybody needs to go watch the documentary, but the one girl, the main girl also has, you know, a ton of followers on
Oh
Instagram.
yeah. Yeah. Yo, Dom looks like a real influencer on the gram.
So yeah, what's your perspective on that? Because it started in fake being a fake influencer, but now you're saying she looks like a real influencer, but deep down
I
she's
think that it was just as it was a great opportunity for me to get exposure, it was a great opportunity for her because she's an actress and she started getting booked and taken
yeah,
more seriously because of her social media presence, and like that's great. That's all I can say. What do I think about it is I think that she was made to be turned into like this fake perception because she's an actress, so she says I'm down to play the role. You feel
right.
me? Which makes her already like the one of the best candidates to do it if you just want to see how much people will change the way they act towards you, you know.
And it's shitty, but it's like sending out that message to like everybody who's watching the documentary, like, yo, this is how like the world is working right now. Like followers
Hmm.
is like currency, and
Currency.
it's fucking gross, like,
Disgusting.
and it's like, yeah, I get it, like we all, and I wanted to ask you this too, like what do you, now it's just now that I've seen the documentary and I've been a quote unquote influencer for like a little while, but I'm more focused on the podcast. Like that's more real to me than Instagram. But now everybody's like got their own brand, like everybody's trying to sell themselves as like a brand or an expert at something, and it's like, does that, what's your pet peeve with that, or how do you feel about that?
I feel like if you're the right person for that, then go for it. If you feel like that's your calling, because like, look, influencer culture and like brands using people to promote their product via social media is a it's a marketing strategy. First of all, they're turning you into the product essentially, right? So when they look at you and your number of followers, they see value in you. That's why they're hitting you up saying we want to send you some shit, we want you to
Yeah.
promote whatever. If you feel like that's who you are and you like that, then go for it. But at the same time, you do need to understand that you can't bet all your chips on that shit because just like everybody who was on MySpace and everybody who's on Facebook, when I was on Facebook and I was on MySpace, and probably when you were too,
Yeah.
like where are they now? Where are they at? You feel me? Where are those apps at? Who's using them? You understand what I'm saying? Like this
Yeah.
can't be forever. Like it can't be. It's just not. I don't feel like it's a wise move because like once this you know era of Instagram dies out, then
Do you
what
think
kind of
it's gonna
job are
die
you
out?
finna have?
Do you think it's
Probably.
gonna die out? I
I
mean, I've had
mean,
this thought a lot, and I'm like, I hope, like low key, I hope it does, but low key, I don't think it's going to.
probably it will become less cool to people is what I predict. It might never die. They're always gonna find a way to improve it. Like
I feel
the
like it's
app has already grown so crazy. From 2013, I got Instagram, like, and we just
yeah, me
had
too.
it. Yeah, we just had it, just like posting pictures, me and the homies, and like I didn't know that it was gonna be like this, obviously, but I think it's like this. It's a tool. It's a marketing tool. It's a business. So yeah, it probably can go on forever, but like, is it gonna have the same appeal to everybody over time? I don't think so. Like, I think it's probably going to get a little corny, just
Like,
like Facebook got a little corny, just like MySpace got a little played out. Like, it's bound to happen. There's only going to be new apps.
yeah, and I think people are waking up to how fake people are. I mean, there's
Yes.
there's so many accounts out there who specifically, like, I follow a lot of like body positivity kind of
Hmm.
accounts, and they will show like, this is what your ass looks like in this position, and then this is what your ass looks like when you're in like an influencer position, and it's just like the more accounts like that go out there,
Yeah.
thank God. Like, we need that because people are literally comparing every aspect of their lives, like relationship and money and traveling, to these people who are getting everything handed to them, you know?
Yeah. And also, like, people are just like, they're not, I don't know for a fact, but like, nobody's getting that cool of stuff for free. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Like, they couldn't land me those influencer posts with the brands that I actually gave them because those brands were like, we don't need no fucking influencers. Like, our shit is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? And
People
the
are money
people,
hungry though.
yeah, people are. I don't know. The thing is, for me, I don't feel like you should just do it just for whatever, for products. Products can't pay your bills. Products
Yeah,
can't buy
exactly.
you a new, you know what I'm saying? It can't buy your mom a house. So I feel like people need to actually develop their own product or their own service or broadcast whatever makes you special. What can you do that you feel like nobody else can do like you know? Do that. You don't need
Yeah,
to
like,
do this shit that everybody else is doing.
yeah, it's not like a cookie cutter. Like, everybody's been through some kind of fucked up trauma, and I feel like your trauma can mold you into like what you're meant to be doing
Hmm.
here on earth, like how you can help people, you know?
And your ability to deal with it,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay. A couple more quick fire questions. Someone asked if there was a celebrity that you would, like, a famous celebrity that you would um reach out to or DM slide. Who would it be?
If I could DM any celebrity,
And they were single.
oh, so we're talking about like somebody I'm like potentially interested in.
Like, yeah, like what's your celebrity like type?
Oh, okay. Let me see. I think I have to look at Instagram real quick to figure this one out.
Like, all
Oh
right, who
my
do I?
gosh. Yeah, for real. Like, let me just, okay, let me go look at photos you've liked, and this will help me
Yeah.
answer this question. Posts you've liked.
In the meantime,
Um,
I'm gonna share with you a pickup line that somebody sent me in my DMs while you're looking for your answer.
all
This
right.
guy said, "Are you the security camera screen at the entrance of a grocery store? Because I can see myself coming inside you."
Yo!
Like, savage.
Yo! That's crazy. That's a crazy one.
That's a
That's a
crazy
very
one.
crazy one.
That
Wow.
that's like he just went for it and he was like, "Fuck it," you know? Like, I'm not gonna answer that.
Gosh. This is so hard. Like, this is so difficult for me because, like,
Well, top three. Do you like top three?
top three, like,
Yeah.
it's tough. I don't follow people that I don't know.
But like celebrity, like it could be like a singer, it could be an artist, it could be an actress. Like, who's like, oh, like when you see them on screen or on their video
Like,
or something.
where's Christina Milian at this point in time? What does she
I
look
haven't.
like?
I don't know, but she was pretty fire and sexy, and she
She's
had
the
that.
bomb.
Yeah.
I'll definitely slide. You
Okay.
feel? She's
Christina Milian.
if Aaliyah was still alive, I would have
Oh,
to try. God, rest in peace.
yeah.
Um, oh, let me think. The last one's just got to be the most fire one. But also, like, I feel like I already know her. She's famous, but like we know each other. But like, I just, you know, I don't feel that I can like just slide like that.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just don't want it to be like, oh yeah, he tried to slide, and then it's like,
Right. But like it
you
doesn't have
know,
to be like that. Like, so like when somebody is like thinking about like sliding into somebody's DMs, it doesn't have to be like, yo, like I really like it can be so subtle, you know? It
right.
can be just like, hey, what's up? Like, just trying to like create that connection, I guess. Like,
Hmm.
what? what's like a way that what's something that you would say to like slide into somebody's DMs? Like for people who are listening, everything is Instagram now. I feel like Instagram is like this dating app that like or it's just a dating app at this point because I've heard so many people like, "Oh yeah, I met him on Instagram." It's like all these like famous influencers like just meeting like their lovers on Instagram.
hmm
It's like what the fuck?
Um, I'm saying funny shit no matter what. Yeah, I'm definitely saying something funny, but that's just naturally me. That's
Yeah.
usually how I break the ice. If you post a story that makes me laugh or say something funny, I'm definitely gonna respond. Um, but if I feel like you're interesting or if I feel like I'm attracted to you, I'm gonna probably definitely just try to keep the conversation alive. I'm a natural conversation starter, so I can't really calculate what I'm gonna say. You
Right.
know, it just like vary in the moment. Like I'm just gonna type it, send it, whatever.
Have you ever
Um,
been ghosted before?
ghosted?
Have you ever been ghosted?
Hell yeah!
It's fucked up.
Yo, I've been ghosted. Yeah, but I wasn't really tripping about it. I've been ghosted. I remember when I first came to LA and I was like using dating apps or whatever. Like I was hanging out with this chick and she was cool or whatever, and we were chilling, and she was like, "Yo, you want to go see a movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we went inside the movie, and look, everything was going cool. Like I wasn't getting the vibe. Like she wasn't having a good time or nothing. Like we was laughing, we were hanging out, whatever. And like we went into the movie, and she was like, "Oh, I gotta take this phone call," and she straight just left, yo. Like in the middle of the movie, just left. Like I watched that whole movie, like the whole Bad Boys 3 was the movie, by the
And you were
way.
just like sitting there alone, like,
Yeah, I was like, when is this chick gonna come back? She never came back.
okay. Have you ever ghosted anybody?
Ah, have I ghosted anyone?
Sometimes it's necessary. Everybody's been ghosted and everybody's ghosted somebody. Like
Yeah,
every
I have to say, I definitely have without being too specific. I can't be too specific because I don't know in my mind right now, but I know I've done it.
yeah.
But
Sometimes it's
not after we like, if we like had sex, like I never ghosted nobody like that. Like I might have
okay,
talked to you
that's
and hung out with you and then like not talk to you again. But like nothing
okay,
like
that
that.
happened to me though. Like
What?
I had like yeah, no, I'm serious. Like I when I was living in Philly, I was friends with this guy who worked downstairs from the gym that I was working at. And I doubt he's listening to this cuz he ghosted me, so it doesn't matter. Um and so we were friends and then he would always make me juices and like like write cute names on the cups and like we would flirt and then like got his number and we would hang out and like whatever and he literally didn't know that I liked him and he one day he texted me and was like yeah I'm gonna go on a date and I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, why are you telling me that you're going out on a date? Like, are you that dumb? Like, I literally was like, are you dumb? And he was
Yeah.
like, yeah. I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I obviously like you, and you're telling me that you're going on a date. Like, I was like, I'm done. Like, I was like, are you serious? And he was like, oh my God, like, I didn't really know. But, like, guys are so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. But, like, are you like, how do you not know? Like, can you not take a sign or body language or anything? But, like, dude, so we hung out, like, that night and got drunk and then hooked up and had sex, and then he, like, ghosted me after that, and I was just like, "What the
Whoa.
fuck?" Yeah, like, guys really be like that, and, like, then I think he got a girlfriend, and I was just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
no, no. I've never done like anything like that. I can't. My conscience won't let me do that.
Yeah.
So if we get that far, I had to at least like you. Like I have to like you. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
if you're
actually
and if
like
you
you.
don't wanna talk to them, like, say, like, you feel like you're just, like, not compatible or you just, like, need to focus on yourself and, like, your work and stuff, like, there's a way to do it. there's a way to do it. Like, you don't have to just be that guy, that fuckboy dude that just ghosts. Like, there's a way to communicate and say, like, hey, like, I'm gonna focus
Absolutely.
on my.
Absolutely. Transparency. Transparency is the best policy. Just be honest. Just be like,
Yeah,
yo, this isn't the right time for me. So, you know, I see you when I see you. If I don't, I don't.
yeah. But people take things really personally.
Oh my God, the world is so sensitive these days. I have to watch what I say, you know?
Well, I feel like the more transparent and the more real you are, there's going to be people who don't like that, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. I ain't even
Um,
tripping about it.
a couple more quick fire questions. I don't want to keep you too long, but
It's
what
cool.
is like, okay, what is like, what's like one of your most desired qualities when you're looking for a partner?
Somebody who has as much going on as me.
So busy,
Because,
fucking be
yeah,
busy.
busy and know what you want. Like, be very assertive about your passion and your, what, where you think you're headed, where you want to go, who you want to be, and be, dedicated to that. Because something that I learned is that when you get into a relationship with somebody, when you're the person that has everything going on, then they just want to be just all up in your mix.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute, dude, like I was doing this way before you came around. So like now like I'm having to fit you into like
My
my
schedule?
whole schedule. Yeah. And it's like if you weren't already doing that when we met, like it's just I don't know. It just don't feel right. It's squeezing somebody into your life, you know?
Yeah. It's like, yo, I need somebody to be busy like I am because that first of all, that's hot. Like that's attractive.
Right.
Like if you got like some projects, some gigs, some creativity going on, you got people calling you, you're like you're doing stuff. Like you're
Right.
trying to like up level, you're trying to like be who you are. And I,
Right.
I feel like, yeah, that was actually one of the reasons why my most previous relationship actually it didn't work out because I feel like I had good stuff going on. This is like when I was living in Miami and I was teaching yoga and I had my podcast and like just like I would travel and he would make me feel super guilty about it and like he didn't have much going on in his life and I feel like was the that was the thing. And he was
Yeah.
also a couple of years younger than me too.
It's gotta be equal. It's got to be equal. That's definitely one of the things that happened with my ex. She didn't even want to. She was currently in school. I had already graduated, and like she didn't even want to go to class, like, cause she just wanted to hang out. And I'm like, bruh, you should probably go to class. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm tripping, but you should go to school. Like, that's what you're here to do. Like, you're not even from this country. You came to this country to go to school, and what, you met me, so now, like, that's just gonna be whatever? Like, nah,
That's
take your ass to
yeah.
class.
That's how some girls are. That's how some people are. Men, women, doesn't matter what gender you are. Like you get so sucked in and so like just kind of obsessed and like once you find that person who you're just like, oh, like I feel good around them or like all your stuff just flies out the fucking window. Like all your passions, all your like inspiration, like all your drive is just like channeled into this person and like that's not healthy either.
Yeah, don't let that happen. Her problem is she didn't even know what she wanted to do. I
Right.
still don't know if she knows because she'll hit me up and tell me she's doing this every time she hits me up, and I don't really like talk to her. But every time she'll hit me up, she's doing something else and she's working with a different group of people. And I'm like, dude, you don't really know what you want to do. But I
Mhm.
know what I want to do. So
So,
definitely be busy. Like,
yeah.
have a passion and dedicate yourself to that, you know?
So what is it that you're doing? I mean, after Fake Famous, like what are you doing? Like what's your main fucking shit that you're doing right now?
So my main hustle is, I mean, it's art. It's always been art. My clothing line is definitely like my main focus. Last one left by One Off Recycled Garment Project is going to be, it's going to be one of the biggest brands in the future. Basically, just I'm innovating ways to use secondhand clothes and objects and making things that already exist, you know, new and appealing again. And it's kind of it's a little bit of an unexplored path by a lot of people who say that they're into like fashion. I'm not. I don't care for fashion. I'm a designer, but at the end of the day, I am using clothes as a canvas. I'm not considering myself a fashion designer. You know, I'm
Right.
not I'm not my brand is not a fashion brand. Okay.
You're like repurposing them and like
Yes, my brand is a
restyling.
concept brand. Concept brand. Okay. That means that I'm taking a concept and applying it to different things. I'm not trying to be fashion. I have style. There's a difference, you know?
Right.
Um, so yeah, that clothes and music, that's it. Clothes and music. That's all that I'm focused on. If it's not clothes, then it's music. If it's not music, then it's clothes. And all the things that go into that. So all the mediums, the artistic outlets that go into that, photography, videography, all of that. I'm heavily
Yeah.
into all of that, and I've got a whole squad around me that's, they're influencing all of those interests as well. So it's probably not going to stop anytime soon, you know?
No, it just kind of, you flow into one thing and one thing leads to the next. I went to fashion school in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I worked in the fashion industry in LA. I lived in LA for 4 years, from 2012 to 2000, like 15, 16. And I worked in the fashion industry and I fucking hated it. Like, and I spent 4 years of my life in fashion school and mainly like wardrobe styling and
Okay.
styling was my thing, not design and fashion photography and stuff like that. But I worked for a couple companies and some production stuff in LA, and it just made me realize like, oh wow, this is actually like not what I want to do,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
sucks. 'Cause, like I love styling and I love fashion. I still like intertwine that into what I do now, like on my Instagram and like whatever. But it's not only about fashion. It's about the vibe. It's about like
Mm-hmm.
who I am. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't have to have a lot of money to look like you have style. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
going to the thrift store. I fucking love that. Like when I was living in California, the thrift store situation out there is amazing.
It's probably really good when you were going.
Yeah, that
Because
was like
now
before I
kind of
kind of blew up.
everybody knows that that's where they should go. And a lot of people just, it's a business for them. So, you
Yeah.
know? But I've been inside those big offices, I've been inside those big productions, those big brands. I know how it goes. That's why I'm like, I'm not really into fashion per se. If a fashion company that I like would like to hire me, that's a different story. I might
As
take,
as their as like the face, as like a model for them or like a designer.
I mean, for anything. Yeah, if
Mhm.
it's either one of those things, but um, that's the only way that I think I would consider myself to be working in fashion.
Yeah. What about acting? Like after Fake Famous came out and you're kind of just like settling into your life and like doing you, like are you getting more opportunities thrown your way to like be on film or TV or
Um, I don't know. Like, to
like do
be
you want that?
real, to be real, I haven't been getting hit up as many times as everybody else has been getting hit up because I think they kind of know like we can't control or predict what this guy's gonna say. I don't know if you noticed, but they went on like the Today Show and everybody was on it except me. And
I didn't know that.
I was like, damn, I
What the
didn't get the
fuck?
memo. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? But then I looked at the picture on the TV screen, and if you understand what I'm saying, I just know that I probably just wouldn't look right in that crowd, in that mix that they had. So I was like, it's fine. Like, I don't need to be on the Today Show. I'm really not even today. I'm like next year, so it's fine.
Yo.
I don't really need to be on the Today Show. But yeah, everybody was on the Today Show except Chris. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I checked my email. I was like, did I ignore this email? I was like, nope, I didn't even get it. It's crazy.
Right, but I think yeah, I think you're right though. It's like it's very cookie cutter, it's very like proper. It's like
Hmm.
and who the fuck wants to be on shit like that where you have to like, sit up and like be fake.
Look, the day that they called me to be on the Today Show, I won't forget. I won't forget that they did this, and I'll make sure that I remember. I'm going to remind them. I'm going to remind them that this happened. So, anyways, uh, I don't know if I'm completely into like acting. I'm I kind of feel like I could. A lot of people have told me I could act. One of my roommates, he's in entertainment and he's big into getting big into acting. And I read lines with him just to help him out and stuff sometimes. And he's like, "Damn, bro, you could probably act." But I don't know. I don't really feel like acting like nobody except myself at this point in time. So I just feel like if it's meant to be, it will happen. If you want me to be on your show or whatever, then just hit me up. That's the way that I was on this podcast because literally I saw that Today Show thing and I was like, wow, I'm not expecting to hear from these HBO people about opportunities if this is what's happening. You feel
Mhm.
me? And I was like, well, I'm gonna be my own manager.
Yeah.
People hit me up to do podcasts. I'm like, all right, you cool. I'll do it. You know?
Which I'm so happy you were down to do it.
Yeah, I was glad that you hit me up too. I was down.
I was just like, yo, like I fuck with this dude's energy and I feel like I've met you before, but like I don't know. I like I truly do believe in like energy and past lives and soul contracts like what you were just saying. If it's meant to be, if something's meant to be in your life, that shit's not going to pass you by. That shit's going to flow into your path. If you say no this time, something else is going to come that's better, more in alignment, more
Absolutely.
good for you. And it's like, I could have just sat there and been like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool if that guy was on my podcast," and like just didn't DM you. Or I could have just said, "All right, fuck it. I'm just going to DM him." And
Yeah.
like you have literally nothing to lose. So like people who are listening who are like, "Okay, well, I just don't know how to like get these things to come to me." Just fucking put yourself out there.
Oh, trust me. Yes. Do that. Do that. Absolutely. 100%. Look, I am in text and email conversations with very important people, and I don't know exactly all the time what they want to hear from me or what they're expecting. And I'll just send them stuff until they're interested sometimes, and then it'll work. It'll sometimes work, and sometimes it's just like it doesn't, but you got to try.
Yeah, because if you don't try, then you're just keeping yourself back
You
from
will never
the
know.
potential.
That's
Right.
right. That's right.
Well, I feel like I could talk to you for a long time, and I feel like it'd be cool if you were like a reoccurring guest and we can talk about different types of shit
Oh,
when
what? You gonna bring me on again?
that'd be cool. I mean, I'd love to have you back on
All right.
to talk about all things dating and just life and the
Is there
craziness
anything
of
else that you feel like you missed today?
um let me see. I mean, I feel like I could talk to you for a long time. I have in my notes I wanted to talk about friendships and like friendship falling outs, but that's kind of like a whole thing that I'd love to get into with you
Okay.
like another time. I have written down here, what's your guilty pleasure?
What is my guilty pleasure? Oh, I don't know. It's really crazy. So, not too long ago, I had to write it down and really meditate on the fact that pretty much any pleasure that I seek is not guilty. So I don't know that because I don't want to feel guilt when I do it.
Right.
Um,
Like for
uh,
me, it's laying in bed on Reddit. Like I'm trying to go to sleep, but I'm like on Reddit. Like that makes me feel pretty guilty. But I'm like, but this is fun. But it's like also making me feel like shit. So that's my guilty pleasure.
my guilty pleasure is definitely going back through my childhood and watching all the trash TV shows that I used to watch.
Yes.
So ah, like Flavor of Love is on Hulu,
Oh my
and
god.
I'll just sit there and watch the whole fucking season. That's my shit. I can't even lie. Yeah, definitely that. That's one for sure.
Okay. Like trashy reality TV.
Just trash television. Love it. Love trash television. I love the trifling people that they find on these shows. Any
I
type
think
of
it's
shows,
like
like even Cops. Like I'll sit there and watch Cops. Like I
yeah.
don't know why. Actually, as a black man, I shouldn't be attracted to that shit at all. But I love watching Cops. Like that shit be funny. I'm like, bruh, these are
But
real people. Like I
yeah,
can't
but
believe this.
you're like in your home and you're safe and sound. So you're like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it.
Exactly. Like any kind of trashy TV, that's definitely like a guilty pleasure. I don't have cable, but like if you can stream it, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
You
Who the
know?
fuck has cable anymore? Um, well, I think we did cover a lot, but I really do want to have you back on because that'd be fun to like
Let's
have
do it.
like just like a reoccurring kind of thing. But all right, where can everybody find you? And well, I'm obviously gonna link it in the show notes.
So you can find me in Los Angeles. In real life, you can find me at flea markets all around Los Angeles, selling clothes, making t-shirts for people on the spot. But you can find me on Instagram at Chris Verse Myself. And my brand is called One Off Project, the number one off project. And um, yeah, that's where you can find me. Follow
Cool.
up, and you'll might be able to find me in real life too.
Yeah, if I come back out to LA, I'll let you know. I was actually
Yeah, you
living
gotta
in
hit
Long
me up.
Beach. I was living in Long Beach from July to January, and then I just moved back to Florida in January. So all my people are out there, like a lot of my friends and family and stuff are out there, but it's just so fucked up with COVID. It's just like
Hmm.
I gotta just like chill and you know.
No, I feel you. It's a little bit of a difficult place to be in, but I mean, if you can make it work, it's still a good place to be at. You know. Oh,
Yeah.
what's up? Is that your cat?
Yeah, that's my cat. His name's Nar. He's been sitting next to me this whole time, just listening.
Nice.
He's the best. Um, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into that episode. I really loved talking to Chris. Go connect with him. Go follow him on Instagram. And we are going to re-debut the full song called Let It Go by Matt Bellina, co-written by me. Enjoy this full version of the song.
Right now, within these chaotic waves, my main goal is not to react to my triggers, for they do not deserve a drop of my energy. I choose to take away of least resistance. Everything you did, everything you said is not proud of me. So I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. And I take a breath. I feel it hit the back of my chest. These days my perspective has shifted. I feel it more free, more space to really be me. So excuse me while I soak myself in this bathtub portal and wash away everything you did. Everything you said is not proud of me. So I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. Everything you did, everything you said is not proud of me. So I let it go. I let it go. I let it go. I let it go.
Worried about mom or dad falling? The Symphony Medical Alert System from CVS Health helps make their home safer, even if you can't be there. Symphony works with voice activation or a care button they can opt to wear, along with smart sensors for coverage around the home. With 24/7 emergency response and an app to tie it all together, you can monitor your loved one's well-being for enhanced peace of mind. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more about Symphony at cvs.com/symphony or find it at your nearest CVS Health Hub.